Miami's lost a couple in a row, but you said it back in Denver after the win against them that it felt like a playoff game. What do you like or appreciate about sort of the type of game that you have to expect against them?
Well, they're elite defensively, obviously, as you mentioned. We know what we're in store for tonight with them having lost 3 games in a row, coming off of a tough loss against Washington at home. And so understanding the urgency and desperation they're going to play with, and not just matching that, but trying to find a way to exceed that. But it seems like whether it was a finals or game 1 a few weeks ago, the game becomes, 1980s basketball. Scores are in the 90s. So that's where we got to try to find a way to get some transition into the game. We've been running at a very high level, second in the NBA since the All-Star break at over 20 a game. Game 1 we only had 9 fast break points, so that plays to their favor. They very good half-court team, and we just got to be ready for the challenge for 48 minutes.
Like, well, kind of along those lines, at the break, it's like the sky was falling. Everybody's scoring 100,000 points a game. People were acting like, and everybody's going crazy about the stats. And ever since the break ended, you're starting to see that some teams getting into that playoff kind of mode defensively. Are you seeing that? Is it only natural at this time of year? This is where teams are going to start really ramping up on that end?
I can't speak for the other 29 teams. I know for us, we went into the All-Star break having lost 3 games in a row, and injuries to our starting backcourt played a big part of that. But I think your understanding of coming out of the break with 27 games to go and getting back to playing at an elite level on both ends of the floor. And to our guys' credit, we've done that. We're 9-1 since the break, and the reason we are running more is because we are defending at a much higher level, and you can't do one without the other. So, but yeah, I'm sure that other teams are having the same conversations. If you want to find a way to get into the postseason, you got to start playing defense, because that's the only way you're going to win games.
Kind of along those lines, 9-1 since the break. Obviously, you guys have been very, very good all year. How nice is it as a coach to know that the regular season still means something to you guys? Like, you're not just waiting for April to waiting for the good stuff again. Like, you guys seem to have taken the first 65 pretty seriously too. How nice is that?
Well, that was the message back in training camp. If we're really serious about trying to repeat as world champions, that's going to be exhibited every practice, every shoot around, every walkthrough, every film session, every weight room session. And there's a target on your back, and I think our guys have handled it well. I think the second thing I would say regarding that is last year was completely different than this year for us. We took over first place in the West probably middle of December and never looked back. And this year, obviously, we haven't been in first. Minnesota's been there, OKC has been there. And, you drop a game or 2 games or 3 games, you can go from first, second, third, all the way down to 4th, 5th, or 6th. So there is, you have to continue to play at a high level to set yourself up for postseason success.
Coach, Nikola and Bam have expressed a lot of respect for each other in their battles. From Bam's side, what are the things that you see him do that he can try to make things a little bit more difficult on Joker?
I mean, yeah, he's a terrific defender, athletic, physical, smart. He does a really good job of not getting screened, and one of the best ways to stop a great player is not let him get the ball. And I think Bam, his post defense is just outstanding in his ability to front the post or hard 3/4 of the post to make those post entry passes difficult. But yeah, I mean, they know each other well from all their battles. And, obviously I think our entire team has a lot of respect for who the Heat are, from Spo all the way down.
Always good to see a former Providence College assistant. Coach, you mentioned you're racing the West. How do you balance the importance of going into the playoffs as the top seed with just being healthy and playing well? What importance do you place on finishing number 1 in the West?
Yeah, this for me, it's not even close to a debate. We have to be healthy. I think when our starting lineup is healthy and available, our winning percentage is through the roof. So if we can get one, sure, we're going to take it. We're not going to shy away from that. It was very effective for us last year, having home court throughout the entirety of the playoffs. But at what cost do you try to retain that? And we luckily throughout the entire month of March we have no back-to-backs. So, you can try to, get through that month, but if, we need Jamal Murray, KCP, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic healthy and able and ready to go for hopefully another deep playoff run. And I would not want to jeopardize that by trying to run guys into the ground just to attain the number 1 seed. And even if you go for that, it's not a guarantee you're going to get it, because as I mentioned, teams like Minnesota and OKC, they've been great all year long as well.
When Aaron first got traded to you guys, did you always envision him thriving in the dunker like he's been? And how much do you think the relationship he has with Nikola off the floor has really helped that connection they have from that high-low passing they have going?
Well, I don't think the relationship off the court can ever hurt the relationship on the court. With that being said, I think Nikola, the way he plays, whether Aaron, who's gone over to Serbia to visit him, who went over to watch him in the European Championships a year or two ago, all that is great, and they have a very good relationship because of that. But if there was a guy that didn't spend any time with Nikola and he was in a dunker, he would still find that guy. Point being, Nikola is going to make everyone around him great. The fact that they have the relationship they do is just makes it even that much more effective. And then as far as the first question, when we got Aaron Gordon, I think we, early in that, right after that trade deadline, we went into LA and beat the Clippers, a healthy Clipper team. And I think that's when we all realized the potential that we now had with a guy in Aaron who could guard 1 through 5 and who's going to make everybody else's lives that much easier, both offensively and defensively. And I think, when you acquire players and you put together a roster, it's not just putting together talent. The pieces have to fit, and they have to complement one another. And I think Aaron and Nikola are a tremendous complement, and we see it every single night.
Coach, you mentioned the 9-1 record team playing well, but in some of those games, there's been that one bad quarter. How do you guard against that? And how do you, going forward, how can you stop when another team gets on the big run?
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't get up by 39 anymore. That's probably part of the problem. And this, you look around the league every night, Chris, and there are teams that are going to make a run. And to your point, the challenge is how can you be disciplined and play as close to 48 as possible and hold yourself to a high standard. And that's what you worry about. They've lost 3 in a row. We've gone 9-1. But when I first got in the league, Jeff Van Gundy used to talk about understand why you're 9-1. You have the number 2 offense the last 10 games, the number 8 defense. You're second in transition points. So there are so many positives to point to. We're not just winning because we're talented. We're winning because we're playing the right way. And that'll be tested tonight against a team that I think is currently in 8th place, but sits 2 games out of 4th place. So the East is jumbled just like the West is, and this game is a very important game for Miami, and it's an opportunity for us to start off a 4-game road trip on the right foot.
We'll take one more.
Coach, I know last year was a blur, but you come to Miami after losing Game 2, and it was your first home loss in the playoffs. What was your mindset? What were you thinking at that point? And then you, of course, win 2 here.
Yeah, it was. The message coming out of Game 2 was that yes, you give Miami credit, but our discipline was not anywhere close to being where it needed to be, and we had a very honest film session when we landed, getting ready for Game 3 here. And then after that film session, we went over to Jeff Green's house, and we broke bread as a family. And I really felt that was so impactful because that film session was not me showing. I picked 17 clips, not me. I gave each player a clip. And I said, you tell me what you see and what should have happened. And all the players took ownership, and we learned from it, which is what film sessions are for. It's not a blame game. Can we learn from the mistakes that we made and be better tomorrow? And then to break bread and kind of come together as a team and as a family, then you put it behind you and you get ready for Game 3. And obviously our players did a terrific job of that and enabled us to win our first championship.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mike.